Hello, everyone. How are you? Hope you're having an incredible day, and may peace be upon you. Welcome to the show with me, your host, Dr. Izdihar Jamil, on the It Takes Courage show. And today I have two very special guests with me who are artists, performers, creatives, and we are going to be talking about from living rooms to the stages of New York. So first, let me welcome my guest, my good friend Laura Clancy, as well as her co-creator, Trynne Paris. So welcome, Laura and Trynne, to the show.
Thank you. Yes, thanks.
Brilliant. Okay, ladies, we have a big thing coming up, right, in January. And I believe the date, oh my goodness, Laura, correct me if I'm right, on the 12th of January?
That's right, the 12th of January.
Rapidly
coming up.
Yeah, it's just right around the corner. So on the 12th of January, Laura is going to be performing her, going to be performing and reading her play, something that she has developed since the living room, and it started all in the living room. So Laura, let's talk about that journey, right? You didn't go off starting big, like I would just want to go to the stages straight away, but you started with a concept. You tested it out in front of a group of friends. In fact, actually, it was at my living room where it all started here. So let's talk about your journey of how did performing in living rooms shape your journey to the New York stage?
Well, actually, thanks so much for having us. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited that you were a huge part of the stepping stone, but I'm going to step back just a tiny bit further. 4 years ago, I had a coach, and I told him my dream was to write this very large play, and it would win a Tony Award, which was still kind of ridiculous. And what happened was 3 years, maybe 2 years after I made that declaration, I scaled it back. I went to one of his events and realized, oh, and I did a little drawing. If I just scale this back and make it smaller and just go into people's living rooms, I can make a big difference and start getting a feel as to what people really need. So I took this larger idea, scaled it back, started in your living room, which was still a huge step for me because I had worked on 3 songs as my 3 steps in the process of my coaching. And from there it grew because I kept writing songs, and that's how it stepstoned into what was next. I went to another person's living room and expanded it. There were more people there. Again, it was more personal development coaching with these 3 critical steps that were in song form. So it made it fun. Everybody got, relaxed. They learned a lot. They laughed a lot. And then they went along their merry way.
Okay, so let's, break it down a little bit. You had this big vision, right, of performing on New York stages and win a Tony. But that wouldn't have happened just like right off the bat, right? So it does not going to happen the next day. So you scaled it back to like, okay, what if I can do something simple, something smaller, and that something smaller looks like how did that something smaller look like? You talked about a little bit of song, a little bit of personal development. Talk us through what that something smaller looked like.
Well, because I had been a mindset coach coming from the personal training world, and it's really more about why you eat what you eat rather than what you eat. I'm really more into people's mindset, what makes them tick, what makes them make decisions. And I realized if I take my current skill set, which was a coach, and I have a really good sense of humor and blend those songs that I had been writing and give them 3 of these critical steps of ways of changing their lives, I could bring it individually and work on an individual basis in a group. So a group of 12 people in a living room, I think there were 8 people in your living room, maybe 7, I'm not sure. And affecting each one of them individually and then as a group was such a powerful thing. But I worked with what I had, which was an idea of how to coach people in personal development, increase their mindset or increase their belief systems. People get stuck in their belief systems, and then infuse new ideas of what to do next for them, because I'm in the middle of my story, but we all are. So I scaled it back to what I could do and brought to the table some new skills of singing and critical steps.
Yes, it's like you take what you have of training people with the mindset, with the performance, and then add another layer of the side of you that has long been kind of like dormant, which is the creative, the performing side, the artist side. You develop the songs, make it fun, make it unique, and take them through the whole experience, through your songs, to your storytelling, to the training, to the little exercises that you did. And it started off in the living room. And what people don't know is that it doesn't have to be perfect, like Laura. Like it takes a bunch of things to get through that. But talk us through developing that work from the songs, from the storyline, all these little pieces coming together. Because here's what will make people stuck. I need to have it perfect and nailed down before I show it in front of an audience. And we got to bust through that.
Yeah, I have to bust.
Can I jump in here? I'd like to tell a little story that happened along the way that I think is just perfect and illustrates your point. So, and I kind of have this mindset of just do it messy, but push forward, just keep going. Like you said, it doesn't have to be perfect. When Laura and I first got involved together, she had signed up to do a reading in New York, and she was willing to just stand on that stage and blink for an hour if that's what it took. Now, talk about doing it messy. That's about as messy as you can get. But she was willing to go over there just to move her whole experience forward and make progress, right? So I didn't want to see her stand on stage and blink. So I said, Laura, I think maybe I can help you like put a storyline together with your songs. And so that's kind of how I got involved. And that was kind of a point I wanted to make for everybody out there too, is just be helpful. So many good things come from just trying to help others out. I can't tell you how many things in my world lately in these past few years as I've had that mindset and just kind of said, I don't need anything in return. I'm just helping out. And then it just leads to stuff, and it's a beautiful thing, and it just progresses. But long story short, right? Do it messy, go for it, make progress, keep going, and the right things, the right people will come into your life and make it all work out.
That's a brilliant thing, Trynne. Like, because Laura showed up, right? She told me the same thing. I would just stand there and blink or sing whatever. I'll do it. She showed up, not knowing like anything else. Like nothing was certain for her. But then you saw her there because you said yes to coming into New York at that time. So basically, from my living room to another person's living room, Laura went then to New York, which were to the Stages of New York, which where Trynne met Laura. Laura had a reading there as well. She did read a few things. It's more than a blink, right, Trynne? I mean, you were there.
Yeah. And actually, truth be told, I wasn't able to make it to New York. Laura had to do it all on her own. I was in the process before that, just helping her get ready for the stage.
Yeah, for her to get ready. And you were like, you know what? I don't want to. This person showed up with all the courage and creativity and this passion. I just don't want her to just blink or just stand there. I want to help something. And I love that attitude because you kind of like, oh, I probably have so many things in my life, but let me just help. Let me just help. Mm-hmm. And when you said about not having anything in return, like I just want to help. How would that be possible, Trynne? Because, at the end of the day, we all have to pay our expenses and the bills keep coming up. How can we have that mindset of abundance?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, I really didn't have the time for it when I said, yes, I'll help you. But I've been working on myself just to have this mindset of we're all in this together on this planet. We're a community. We do need to kind of look out for each other here and there and just offer what we can when we can. And so that's, I guess, the core of it is just have a mindset of loving others, right? Just love others and try to be in their corner, try to be invested in things they're passionate about too, not only your own passions, but put yourself out there just to be there for other people. So,
Yeah, that is a great thing. It just reminds me that what I was taught is that if you make things easy for other people, then God will make things easy for you. So kind of like having that perception and faith of it. And Trynne, let's talk about then, since you saw Laura, she read her script at the stage of New York. She started with something big and then scaled it down and tested it out. How then you come in to help her out? What was your specific role, and what is it that it helped Laura's play developed into?
well, we truly became collaborators after the reading, and we kind of tabled it for a little while, right? It's kind of exhausting to put on a show. There's a lot of detail, and just a lot went into it. You just need a little time to relax. But we're both going to New York in January, and for fun, again, like we're having so much fun with our process. That's kind of the beauty of it. Like we're not, for the most part, we're not letting it stress us out. There are times it's stressful, don't get me wrong, but for the most time, we're just trying to roll with it and enjoy the process. But we're going to New York, and I'm like, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we had a reading of the show again, right? While we're out there, why not? So that's kind of how it all started. That we're doing this January performance, and then like you were saying, God, when God is in your corner, things just happen. Wow, like you wouldn't believe the people He has put into our life just in the past 2-3 months that have made this whole fun reading turn into like an off-Broadway performance of our development performance of our show. And it's just incredible, the talent that's coming and getting involved with the show. And it blows my mind really, but it's been
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And, like the people that come in, how it grew, how it expanded, and the vision contracts, the vision expands. So talk us through very specifically the role that you play in Laura's, the role that you play with Laura's performances. Was it the character development? Was it the writing of the script?
Okay,
And
well, I will say I'm probably part of helping Laura see her own story for sure. Like
100%. Actually, I want to tell that story in a minute. Because it was kind of magical, but you tell it from your point of view.
Yeah, but so what I'm bringing to the table with our collaboration for sure is like Laura's had a very interesting life, and a lot of things have happened to her along the way that do make for an engaging story, and it's just kind of putting it in the right order for an audience to get behind. And so probably long story short, that's the main role. But now, like I said, we become partners in this, and we both have this mindset where we want to help as many people as we can have better lives, really just improve themselves, follow their dreams, follow their passions. And it does take mindset to do that. And so that's kind of the driving core behind both of us to keep going with this project.
yeah, and then, creatively, because Laura has an interesting life, right? So many things unexpected that has happened. So you putting the pieces together, make it flow. Does it make sense? Should the story be in here? Should it not? Should it come out? Or, how do maybe we put the story in Korea to the beginning? Creating that storyline creatively to tie it together to create an enjoyable experience for the viewers, for the audience. So Laura, let's talk about that little stories.
I love that. So,
Don't give everything, but for the 12th of January in New York for your performance, what are a little flavor that people can expect?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm going to go back a little bit because this is what I'm doing now historically, and I'll try to keep it simplified. But Trynne came in when she heard my blinking story, and I didn't realize she didn't have time. I had no idea, but it's not in my skill set to write a script. I tried, but I had written the songs, and what Trynne was really good at was putting what's called jukebox musicals together, which is taking existing songs and writing a story arc in between it. And after I realized I was willing, worst case scenario, to stand on stage and blink, then I realized, oh, wait a minute, I could at least do a concert of my songs because I had at least 10 or 12 songs with no story arc, but still I could stand and sing even as a bad singer. So, I upped my own game. And then here comes Trynne saying, I'm pretty good at jukebox musicals. I can probably do a storyline. And so by June, that was March, by June, she had done almost all of it really on her own. And I read the story and here's the miracle. I'm like, that's my life. She figured it out just from my songs, which is, my songs are really kind of nebulous. They're great. They tell a story individually, but not in a story arc. And she knew my story better than me. It's one of the things I say all the time. When you're inside your own bottle, you can't read your label. So it has been kind of difficult is to figure out which story arc we were going to use. And we used the bar of, meet me at the bar was really the premise of it, which now we've talked about. Is it the balance bar? Is it the bar that you dance at? Is it the bar you drink at? Is it the barbell? And what we finally have come up with is it's the bar of excellence. Like, how do you want to live your life? And make that choice. So right now, the current story is a high school reunion is coming. I've become 4 characters within my own play when this shrinks back to a solo show. But as an ensemble cast, here comes this invitation for the reunion and how I, Laura, fall apart. My other characters help support me and come to a conclusion. So it's a diminutive story within my life when there's, and this is a big question that we're working on right now. Whereas the bigger story is probably all those biblical things that happened to me, including my house fire. And when we land that on an audience, people are like, wait, what? That's the story. But I think that's the bigger project that we eventually will work on, is the biblical story.
Yeah, and I love that part about taking the pieces of it, right, Trynne, versus like the whole biblical and the fire and the flood. Take a section of it, something small, something simple, something relatable, like meet me at the bar with the high school reunion coming out with Attila. Attila was in her song. Attila, who's like, I was a fat cheerleader kind of thing, having that. And kind of like one of the things that I know is like, you want to give people a sense of joy, a sense of entertainment, the laughter, the cry, and also for them to see something that's possible in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So bringing on to that, tell us what's happening on January 12th. Where is it going to be happening? How can people join you on January 12th, and how can people enjoy the play?
Well, you can answer, Trynne. Do you want to answer?
I can sort of answer. We're just still getting set up so that people can reserve their seats. So we should have a link set up here in the next few days. We'll set up an Instagram account so people can find it there for waitlists. And yeah, so it's at January 12th at the Players Theater. There'll be ways to find it that way too if you can't find any of the other links. But yeah, we're having it a 50-person theater, and we have some phenomenal actresses that have signed up to be the supporting cast around Laura. And we're just very excited for this opportunity that's kind of been laid in our lap, really. So
yeah. So January 12th, what is the name of the play?
Weightless, Becoming Lighter Than Your Baggage.
And where is it going to happen?
The Players Theater in New York City.
The Players Theater in New York City,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an ensemble cast
Mm-hmm.
of the diminutive part of Laura's story. And again, like with Laura, you can see that she's not going for perfection. She's testing out small pieces of things and seeing the reaction. But the effort that has been put in are, like a little bit crazy. So Laura, talk us through the trainings, the effort, and everything that you've put in to make this play happen.
Yeah, that is such a great question. So I joined a group of theater makers a year ago and came up with a game plan of what I wanted at the end of my year with them. And I've hit every one of the milestones, which was to have characters that I love, a story arc that is good, and to perform it for feedback. And I don't think any of this would have happened without my coach and songwriter partner in crime, Drew, because Drew made me sing my own songs. I did not want to sing. I had this dream that I was going to write a musical that would win a Tony Award without the skills of writing, not being able to sing or anything. But because Drew pushed me to sing, and because I joined this theater makers group, and I found out how much it costs to put I think it was a 4 or 5 person non-equity actor off-Broadway show on for 4 weeks was about $200,000. I realized I have to do this differently. So that's when I decided whatever I need to do to move this forward, I will do, which is how I got on stage. So a lot of people over the years have put me, oh, you're going to do a one-woman show. Oh, you're going to do a one-woman show. And I just allowed that because, okay, if that's the way you see it, I want it to be this big thing. But look, I'm doing a one-woman show. And I think you really have to get out there and feel the beat and the feedback of what do people want. We learned so much in June. There were some story arcs that didn't go anywhere, or people were like, what about that biblical stuff? Did all that really happen to you? I had people, that was my favorite part. They're called talkbacks. We call it feedback in business, but it was like they asked questions, which meant they were really into the story, but they were like, well, what happened? Did you become, an alcoholic? Where did these storylines go? So it's so worth it. And it's so great to be out and see people in the audience like, aha, or hum the tune later. It's the coolest thing on the face of the earth. It's so cool. I don't know if I answered your question, but obviously I got excited.
Yeah, you got excited, but you touched base about something like rather than waiting for a stage to call you, you and Trynne decided that, you know what, why don't we bring the stage to ourselves? Like Trynne was saying, we're going to be in New York. Wouldn't it be cool if we did a play here? And you guys kind of like figured it out. So a lot of people, their dreams don't move forward, or it takes them years because they're still waiting for that phone call instead of, like Trynne was saying, we're going to be here, Matt. Can we create a play? Can we do this? What will it take? And I'm figuring those things out. And Laura, I wanted to touch base about, you mentioned that, it's going to take like $200K for, a certain play to happen off Broadway, but you decided to do it differently. And one of your decisions, knowing you, was like, I'm not going to spend that amount of money. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way for me to create this on a scale that's not going to break my budget, but also create sustainable and profitable income for me in the long run. So I want you to kind of break it down on your tips on creating that.
That's such a great question. I do think I have not mentioned enough, as a solopreneur for 17 years and a personal trainer, mindset coach, I've been used to collecting little gigs here and there, right? Like that's how I've made my living. And I've been very much a lone wolf. I don't collaborate. And it's not that I don't play in the sandbox well, I just don't know how to. And what I realized with this is something this big, and this is probably true of most people's big dreams, you need a team, and you need a team of collaborators or a team that you can hire for smaller roles that their dream lives within your bigger dream. I learned that a long time ago. So when Trynne came along, when Drew came along, I had to really be receptive to it, because it's not like I wanted all the glory. I just didn't know how to work together with people. And I got some great advice on the June play when I was just going to go and do the music by myself and no lights and blah, 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 and boombox, whatever I need. And I had someone, his name was Kip, and he gave me really good advice. He's like, this is unsolicited, but I'm going to give you some advice. hire some people to help you. And I'm like, but I don't know how to tell them what to do. And he said, no, if it's a professional, they'll tell you what to do. And I'm like, yes, please. So I got a stage manager, which made the whole thing easy. And that's what I would say to everybody. Hire for something that you're too fatigued to do, you can't do. Let's say you're an artist. Artists aren't consistent. You need to hire someone to be consistent and be on your, on your heels, getting you to do the things you're not doing. So I say collaborate, build a team, the team makes all the difference. Eileen, another partner of ours, is, she's like, the team makes all the difference. So 100% get a team, believe, do whatever it takes. Even if it's failure, you're going to learn. It's not drama, it's data. So.
Okay, Trynne, so coming in as a collaborator.
I'd like to weigh in a little bit here too, because there's, you kind of made a very good point. Like there's not going to be any knight in shining armor on a white horse riding up to discover your project, or take you to that castle. You got to take yourself to that castle if that's where you want to go. And so, but you don't know the way at first. And so you have to, like Laura said, you have to surround yourself with people that do know. So seek out those opportunities, those groups, those whatever. There's a lot of free ones, some you pay for, just find the things that align with your vision and start learning. And then you start building that network. And then that network starts building the team that's going to get you there. So.
Brilliant. So Trynne, like coming in as a collaborator, because you don't know Laura before, right? But you've heard of her vision, you've heard of her pain, a pain of just going to stand there and blink if I have to. So how do you then choose the people that you want to collaborate to? Because let's face it, all of us are busy and our energy is precious. And there are times when we choose, the people that we choose are not in alignment with us. So how do you choose the people that you want to work with that we, in a way that's going to bring you joy, it's going to bring you the satisfaction, it's going to bring you the excitement to what you have to offer to contribute?
Yeah. Well, Laura and I met through that Theater Makers group that she mentioned earlier. And so that was both of us driving our own story forward, right? Like she knew she wanted to learn how to perform. I knew I wanted to learn how to be a better playwright and get my plays from a page to a stage. And so we met in that forum and making the choices, right? Like, again, like I came there not trying to give more than I would take was my mindset as I joined that group. And so I was just offering, I'll help you with your pitch deck. I'll help you with the story. I'll help you, I'll help, which gave me a lot of wonderful connections. And then as you start getting those connections, you see who you're aligned with. Like Laura has this great sense of humor. She's just fun to be around anyhow. And then as we got to talk, we both had like kind of the same visions as far as like wanting to help people, women in particular, with their health and moving their goals forward and just being, like she said, the bar of excellence, not staying stuck, getting to where you really want to be. And so then it was easy to keep going from there because we were already aligned on a lot of things that were important to us.
Yeah, and you touched base also, Trynne, about no knight in shining armor is going to come and give you that 6-figure donation or whatever. It may happen, and it does happen, but what you're saying, Trynne, is that you got to figure out, put yourself out there, right?
Right. Don't wait to be discovered. Attract discovery to you, right? Like you keep doing what you need to do so that people are knocking on your door. You're not trying to knock on everybody else's door. Like you're setting yourself up for success already, and where you could keep going to the point where like you don't really need them anymore, right? But they're going to come find you because you're already proving you're successful, right? So it's kind of that mindset. You're just keep pushing towards driving your own dream and passion forward.
Brilliant. Okay, ladies, let's wrap up with our interview with this one thing. So, Laura, what's your biggest advice to artists and creatives out there who has a vision, who wants to perform on stage, but overcomplicating it?
Decide what you want, write it down, and go for it. And recognize any action, I said this once, it's my own quote, but I have to think about it. It's moving forward with imperfect action beats standing still with perfect inaction. So just keep taking action and believing in yourself and look who shows up in your life. Once you make that decision, everything moves for it to happen, and don't stop. Just keep going.
Yeah, that is great. Like kind of making the decision, right? Because, this morning I made a decision in a way, you know what? I don't want my Irene. She helps me like cleaning the house. I don't want Irene to come this Saturday. I have so many things going on Saturday. I want her to come on the 20th. But then I'm like, I don't want to tell her not to come because then it just messes the schedule, blah, blah, blah. And then guess what? Irene texted me. Guess what she said? I can't come this Saturday, but I can come on the 20th.
I love it.
Thursday of the 20th. I was like, the 20th, please. Like, I mean, I must say, a little bit of chicken out because I don't want to, like, don't let her down because I already told her to come on this Saturday. But once you set the decision and you have like, okay, this is my decision, and just see how, and I even had the thought, would it be great if Irene says she cannot come this Saturday and the 20th? So make a decision and then, just allow for things to happen in your life. And Trynne, I want to ask you this, and let's end with this, right? Sometimes when you put the effort in over and over and over again, things doesn't come through as you expected. What would be your tip for people to kind of like move forward from it?
I mean, that's kind of the beauty of it sometimes is it doesn't go as expected. It goes way better. So, but I was going to kind of piggyback off the other thought you had is like, we had a great accountability coach in our theater makers group. And so basically decide, like you were saying, decide your intent. Where do you want to be in a month? Where do you want to be in 3 months? Where do you want to be in a year? And then start working backwards. Well, if I want to be here in a year, what do I need to do today? And what do I need to do tomorrow? And what do I need to do the next day? And keep doing those things. And write down that intention that you have 1 year from now, just like Laura did. Write it down so you have that kind of recorded and it's out in the universe for everybody to attract and jump on. And so, but then work back, like I said, work backwards and just decide what can you do today to get to that goal in the future. And that's what keeps moving you forward.
Brilliant. Okay, let's remind everybody again. Waitlist, Lighter Than Your Baggage, is happening on January 12th in New York City. Please remind me again the name of the theater.
The Players Theater.
The Players Theater. And tell us the Players Theater in New York City, January 12th for Waitlist, Lighter Than Your Baggage. And if people want to come in, how can they do it? And is there a cost to the ticket to watch the play? Or is there a donation that people can help out for the play?
Yes, donations are definitely welcome. All of theater is not free. And so, we're doing it for the love and the passion of it, but anything really helps just move the messaging forward. So we would appreciate any sort of donations. There'll be a link on trynneparis.com and there'll be a link on Laura's website, lauraclancy.com. So you could always get to the details about the show that way or to give, which we would so appreciate.
Brilliant. So January 12th, in New York, for the life of me, Trynne, I can't remember the name of the theater.
It's simple. The Players Theater. Yeah.
The Players Theater. Okay, I can remember The Players Theater, January 12th in New York City. And the play is happening then. Everybody is welcome. It's a 50-people theater. So you're more than welcome to come and join.
Absolutely.
And we would appreciate donations, sponsorship, word of mouth, any form of contribution that you can make to make this play happen. Like Trynne was saying, that we do it for the love of the play, the love of the art, the love of the spreading the joy in people's faces. So we hope to see you there. If not, just spread the word. Right, Laura? Just spread the word. Spread the word, send in the donation if it's possible, or send in the sponsorship, anything to support the creativity of artists. And remind me again, Laura, how many people are in this production?
There will be 3 other actors. I'll be one of the actors. We have a director, yay, Eileen. She's so sorry she couldn't make this interview. She's phenomenal. And a music director. So a music director takes all the songs and adapts it for the singers. We'll have other people behind the stage and we'll get it video videoed and photographed, and we were just working on the budget today, and that was a little frightening. But again, you can't let something like that, the investment in yourself to move forward is so worth it. If the door of opportunity opens, you've got to go through it. And so I don't know exactly who else might show up, but we've been so fortunate with the incredible people that have shown up once we said, won't that be fun? Since we're at the APAP, which is a conference for performing artists, wouldn't that be fun if we could find a stage? And we did, and look at where we are. So very exciting, very exciting. I think is coming too.
Yes, I'm planning to be there. I'm setting my intention to be there. I've already told my family on January 12th. I mean, obviously I'm leaving before, right? And then I'm coming in later. And, obviously the kids wants to follow me to see Auntie Laura performing, but they have school. So, which is great. I'm going to be there supporting, cheering her on, hopefully taking care of things on the backstage with event production, because I've had experience producing TEDx Huntington Beach. And just like Trynne said, how can I help? How can I contribute? How can I be of service? And then seeing what's possible of things opening up. Somehow, Trynne, I feel that if you walk in with that intention, like the right people just kind of attracts to you. And when you start to have the conversation, like, oh, okay. But I've noticed to the point that I'm just going to go and make money of these people, that things just, it just goes sideways. But going with intention, how can I help? How can I be of service? How can I value? How can I solve your problem? And, and see what happens from there. All right, ladies, let's wrap it up our interview today with this fill in the blanks. Waitlist, you become weightless when? So let's go with Laura. You become weightless when?
You drop your those belief systems that are dragging you behind. They're dragging you down and you can't move forward. So you become weightless when you drop BS belief systems.
Perfect. Okay, Trynne, you become weightless when you
love others and forgive.
When you love others and forgive. That is beautiful. We can tell Laura is a creative, right, Trynne? But that's why she has you to kind of like nail things down and ground things down. All right, ladies, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And this is your host, Dr. Izdihar Jamil, with the show It Takes Courage. And remember, courage is when you trust yourself and you be of service to other people. Take care. May peace be upon you. Let's say bye to everyone.